Hey everybody, welcome back here to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage on this Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Yes, we are into the month of October and well into the month of October, and we're talking about finally some cooler air moving in across the country. How cold will those temperatures get? We're going to let you know here in this forecast. We're also going to be looking at precipitation. I know it's been very dry for a lot of us in the eastern U.S. We're going to look at how much rainfall could be on the table going into the middle of this month. Tropical weather update, and all that is also on the table in this video. So make sure to like the weather forecast, give it a thumbs up, share it, share the video, helps out more than you know. Also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and when you do subscribe, turn on that bell notification to all so you get all my videos and live streams that I post here on my channel. So without further ado, let's get into the forecast. That cold front that brought some of that cooler air is now moving off the East Coast, and a reinforcing front is moving down across the northern Ohio Valley and southern Great Lakes region with a cold Canadian high pressure building in from Ontario, Canada, southward into Wisconsin. So you know there's lots of sunshine in store, but there's also a lot of cooler air as well. Here are your high temperatures expected this Wednesday afternoon, and 50s is all we'll be able to muster in areas of the Arrowhead of Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, stretching over there into interior sections of the Northeast. And then the heat will be mainly confined to the Gulf Coast or the desert Southwest going through the next few days. So as we move the ticker over into tomorrow on Thursday, October 9th, notice the Northeast. Yes, it's going to be in the 40s and 50s for high temperatures. It's going to be a chilly one from Maine back here into New Hampshire, Vermont, and New York State, western Massachusetts. A little bit more of a southerly component to our winds, starting to rebound those temperatures into the central and southern plains, back into the lower and middle 80s tomorrow afternoon, and that will continue to commence as we go into Friday, October 10th, and into the weekend for Saturday, October 11th, and Sunday, October 12th. The 90s, though, should stay pretty far south, only getting as far north as the Oklahoma City area and Tulsa going into the weekend. Now, even though we are getting cooler during the day, does mean we're getting cooler at night too, right? We have a lot of cold temperatures here. In fact, we actually do have freeze warnings here in those lighter blue colors in northern Michigan, the eastern UP of Michigan, much of the Appalachians there from West Virginia and Virginia all the way into Pennsylvania, New York State, into Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, you name it. That is freeze warnings. That's where we're going to be seeing those low temperatures of 32 degrees Fahrenheit or colder, and that will actually lead to damage to any sensitive vegetation that you have out there. So make sure that you're covering it up with a blanket if you want to keep it from getting damaged by the frost and freeze risks here over the next couple of nights, because Thursday morning, it's going to be a chilly one here into the upper 20s, low 30s. I think one of the coldest mornings of the season by Friday morning up here in the Northeast into the low 20s in some of the valleys. That is going to be a very hard frost and freeze up here across the Northeast. And then as we go into the weekend, Saturday morning and Sunday, we start to rebound those temperatures and enough to where we see some record warm lows from the Front Range back into the Central Plains, where we could see lows in the 50s and the 60s. Now let's look at the thunderstorm chances over the next few days. Today, it's pretty minimal, and it's kept farther south where the warmer air is, and there's no severe risk today, tomorrow, or on Friday. We're going to build some thunderstorm chances up, though, across the west, as tropical moisture from the East Pacific will start to build in there as we go towards the weekend. So let's look here at the east first, like we always do. We'll look at the central U.S. view second and the western U.S. view third. In the east this afternoon, we're seeing clearing conditions progressively from west to east across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Starting off this morning, pretty rainy. We're still seeing some rain showers out there from Cape Cod and Boston down there toward Providence and into the Long Island of New York City. But we're going to start to peel away those clouds as we go deeper into this afternoon, and we're going to have more of a northerly component to our winds, which could bring in that cooler air as we go into tonight. Mostly clear skies will give way to those frost and freeze risks across the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, down the Appalachians like we mentioned, as we go into Thursday morning. And then look at the day on Thursday here. Plenty of sunshine to go around across the eastern U.S. Can't rule out a couple showers and storms on the eastern side of Florida or coastal Georgia tomorrow afternoon or evening. But for the most part, the eastern U.S. will see lots of sunshine heading into your day on Thursday. Central United States here this afternoon, we are actually going to be seeing quite a bit of cloud cover across the southern plains and lower Mississippi Valley region. It'll be a mix of sun and clouds. Lots of sunshine, though, with that cold Canadian high pressure building in across Lake Michigan and Lake Superior, much of the Midwest as well. We're going to be seeing that continuing as we go into Thursday, although there could be a couple of showers or a rumble of thunder here with another reinforcing shot of cooler air as we go here into Wisconsin and western UP and Michigan Thursday evening. So watch out for any sporting events that you have up there on Thursday evening. Just a quick shower or thunderstorm may be possible between around 6 o'clock and midnight there from, say, Rochester, Minnesota, La Crosse up there toward Rhinelander, Wisconsin. So keeping an eye on that. Western United States, as we go here into the afternoon, we're going to be seeing plenty of sunshine here. Increase in cloud cover, some showers and storms this evening across Arizona and New Mexico on a sporadic basis. Also watching out for some higher elevation rains there as well across the Pacific Northwest as a strong low pressure trough starts to kick in there across portions of the Cascades. And then as we go into Thursday afternoon, overspreading moisture from our tropical weather feed from the East Pacific will give us quite a bit of rainfall and heavy pockets of rain, including areas near San Diego, Vegas, Phoenix, Flagstaff, Tucson, all the way up there towards Salt Lake City. Could be a pretty rainy day as we go into Thursday, which is a rare sight to see across these areas. Now, going through 7 a.m. on Monday, October 13th, dry weather across the south central United States, a little bit wetter though across portions of the Northeast going through the week, and then we can see that tropical feed from the East Pacific up there into the Four Corners region, and this could give us some pretty heavy rainfall there for places like Arizona. Now, we are looking at some snowfall in higher elevations. Don't get me wrong here, there is some cold air aloft across the Pacific Northwest, but more so up into Western Canada and Alaska. That is where we're also going to be seeing feet of snow in higher elevations, which is not really abnormal for this time of year, but you can see there's going to be cooler air further to the north and west. Heading into next week, long range forecast, Monday, October 13th through Friday, October 17th, ridge of high pressure building across Texas Hill Country. This is going to moderate our temperatures as we go into next week. For the central U.S., we're going to have a trough across the East Coast and a strong trough across the West Coast here, and you can see the influence those troughs will have. Very much below normal temperatures across the immediate West Coast next week, a little bit below normal with that weaker trough across the eastern U.S. exiting into the Atlantic, and then that ridge in the middle that is going to be moderating our temperatures above normal. Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Missouri, including the Ozarks region, could be a good 15, 20 degrees above normal of what we should see in mid-October next week. And it'll be a drier trend underneath of that ridge as we have sinking air, lots of sunshine, so the central and eastern U.S. will bode drier. And then the western U.S., both from the trough and then the East Pacific with those tropical storms coming up, could be giving us some heavier moisture, and this could be overspreading much of California, the Sacramento Valley, the desert southwest or the Four Corners region, and much of the Rockies heading into next week. Now let's look here at the tropics in the West Pacific. This is Typhoon and what was Super Typhoon Halong, and this is quite interesting, right? In 10 days from now, this system is going to be really recurving right into the North Pacific, and this is going to be impacting our weather locally in your backyard across North America by the time we get towards that last week of October, toward Halloween, right? So we're going to be seeing a big trough start to develop once we get towards Halloween, likely into the Northeast United States, and then another one in the Northwest U.S. with the ridge in between. And this is in response to Typhoon Halong, which is in the West Pacific, that's going to be recurving, and this is going to give us a stronger storm system and perhaps a strong cold front as we go in towards Halloween. Now, looking here at the ensemble guidance, the extended ensemble guidance for the European models, you can see a little bit of a trend here in the east with the cooler weather. The American GFS ensemble guidance is a lot more bullish with the cold front. So there still are differences in the strength and intensity of the cold front, but you get the idea. There are going to be some cool shots toward Halloween, and there could be some bumpy weather with active weather as well. Some areas will stay dry, other areas will remain active and wet. So we'll be keeping an eye on that towards Halloween for any trick-or-treaters out there. So now let's look here at the overall tropics, right? In the Atlantic, we have Tropical Storm Jerry in the western main development region that is approaching the Leeward Islands, and this is going to be affecting the Leeward Islands even well outside of the cone. There are tropical storm watches up for most of the northern Leeward Islands here and just east of Puerto Rico, as this is going to recurve to the east of Bermuda, and it's likely to become a hurricane once we get to Friday morning, a category 1 or 2 system as it recurves out there into the central Atlantic. But look at those water temperatures, right? They're pretty warm, so this is why we're going to be seeing that intensity increase from a tropical storm to a hurricane here over the next couple of days. And we look here at the background state of the environment here in the Atlantic, and you can see we got a weak Bermuda ridge that is building here across the northeastern portions of the tropical Atlantic. And that is why a lot of our systems have been recurving, because they've been pretty strong because our warm water temperatures have been increasing the intensity of these systems. Stronger systems gain latitude, and also the weaker ridge, it's not really pushing it further west. So it's kind of recurving out to sea. Now, what's also important by the weekend, we're going to get a big ridge of high pressure near the Hudson Bay, Ontario and Quebec, Canada, and that will lower the pressure underneath near the southeast coast. And it's interesting to see what this may do here as we get toward the weekend and early next week, because this could be a pretty significant system off the east coast, whether it's from rainfall, rain and winds, or whatever it may be. We're going to be keeping an eye on it because there are some members here on the European Ensemble guidance showing a stronger system just off the east coast of the U.S., which could impact much of the mid-Atlantic up into the northeast. But there's Jerry. It's going to be recurving to the east of Bermuda, and you can see that very well even on the GFS ensemble guidance. But there are a lot of members, though, however, closer to the U.S. with a system that we're going to watch. We got that big ridge of high pressure over the top that'll lower the pressure underneath and then have a slower moving system up the east coast. Again, whether that brings significant rainfall impacts or significant wind impacts or both, we're going to be nailing down the exact evolution of this system as we go through the weekend and into next week. Now let's look here at the Pacific side. Also seeing some warmer water, especially those shelf waters near the coast of either Central America or Mexico there, whatever it may be. And you can see there's a lot going on here. Tropical Storm Octave, which never seems to go away. That's continuing to spin there in the East Pacific. Hurricane Priscilla has interest for the United States. And then we also have an 80% chance of development right near the coast of Mexico there, curving up there toward the Baja over the next 7 days. So let's look here at Priscilla. This is a hurricane category 1 right now. It is running out of steam as it's moving into some cooler water as it parallels the Baja of California, but we're going to actually be moving up into the Baja as we go into Saturday, and this could be a tropical depression. But what's interesting about this is it's going to be spreading some much needed moisture into the desert Southwest and areas that have been very dry here as we go in towards the end of the week, but especially into the weekend. And that moisture will not stop there. It's going to be traveling up and over the top here into the upper Midwest. So there could be some sizable moisture to work with as we go towards mid-October. And you can see the moisture trends are in no short supply. Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, all seeing heavy moisture, and some of this could be excessive where we could be seeing some flooding risks and flash floods. So that is something we don't want to see, but we'll keep an eye on that as we go through the long range. And again, there are some pockets here where we could see 6 to 10 inches worth of rain in Arizona. Now, that's a desert, right? So we don't want all that rain in a short amount of time. Again, that could create mudslides. That could also create some flash flooding. We'll keep a very close eye on that in the long range. Well, thank you all for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed the weather forecast. If you did find it informative, helpful for you in any way, reliable, life-saving, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on that bell notification to all so you get all my notifications for videos, live streams I do here on the channel. Like the video if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. My challenge to you, let's see if we can get 1,000 likes on this video today. I do appreciate that. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Wednesday out there.